Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. So I wanted to make a quick video to talk about what are the best selling electric cars in 2022. And this article was published late 2022, so not full 2022, but I think we see a clear picture as to what the trends are as far as what electric cars are sold in the United States. This is United States data. So the first thing we can say is that Model Y and Model 3 are obviously the best selling cars in the US, followed by the Mach-E. The Mach-E is realistically, in my opinion, one of the most credible competitors, and I think Ford did a very good job on their Mustang Mach-E. So a credible competitor. Model S, followed by Chevy Bolt, followed by Hyundai Ioniq 5, and followed by Kia EV6. And one interesting thing to note about these numbers is that, Tesla competition is here, first of all, and I'll quickly show some pictures. There's options other than Tesla now in 2022. Throughout 2022, there has been other options. But despite that, Tesla is still winning, and winning by a long shot, because if you add up all of the credible alternatives right now, so the Mach-E, the Bolt, the Ioniq 5, and the Kia EV6, and you add up all of their sales in 2022, you get to 86,000 cars sold, and that's only 55% of the Model 3 and 36% of the Model Y. So Tesla really is dominating in 2022, still dominating in the US despite the competition, which has now come. The competition is not coming anymore. The competition is here for Tesla. And really quickly, I wanted to show just the price range and the pictures of these vehicles that compete against Tesla. I think most of us driving in the US have probably seen a Mach-E. I mean, in my area, I see perhaps one Mach-E for every 5 Teslas, I would argue, and I really take note of these things. But I personally, I've never seen an Ioniq 5 or a Chevy Bolt or an EV6. So I think it's probably fun to look at them. So let me begin. First of all, this is the Mach-E, so you've probably seen it on the road. The price is pretty similar to the Model 3, and it's overall a fairly okay car if you can get it. Because there's low supply of a Mach-E. I mean, I do believe that every electric car that car makers, automakers make, they will all be sold. But if you can get the Mach-E, not a bad car, but nowhere near the rankings of a Tesla. But the Mach-E, nonetheless, Ford, I think, did a decent job, and that's a fairly big chunk of change at 58,000, but that is in line with what you would pay for a better end Model 3, right? So that's for the Mach-E. Then you have the Chevy Bolt. So Tesla doesn't really have a direct competitor to the Chevy Bolt, because the Chevy Bolt is a compact car, right? It's a very urban car, but the Chevy Bolt is very inexpensive. And I can't imagine how inexpensive it is to drive that car. It's probably one of the cheapest modes of transportation out there. Doesn't directly compete with Tesla. Tesla does not have a car of that size. Maybe one day they have a Model 2. So again, the competition is here for Chevy. The competition is here with Ford and with Chevy, but that's not it. There's major brands in the US. Hyundai is a major brand. This is the Ioniq. They call this an SUV, although it doesn't look like an SUV to me. I've never seen one on the road, but it looks pretty small in the picture. To me, it looks almost more like a compact. But again, pretty competitively priced, and they haven't even made a dent in Tesla's numbers with only 18,000 cars sold. And despite that, there's a dealer markup too, which is an issue that all of these traditional legacy auto companies trying to sell electric cars face, is the dealers marking up those cars. Because they have very few of them and there's low supply. And I think that's something that dealerships are going to do for years, and that traditional automakers are going to have to deal with for years, is dealer marking up those cars, as is the practice often with high demand vehicles. electric cars are in high demand. When you cut the cost of driving by 5 to 10, depending on where you drive, obviously that vehicle is going to be in high demand. You're moving from a $50 gas tank to a $8 to $9 electric charge, right? So it's so much less expensive, and so people obviously really jump to these cars because they save you so much money. Once you buy a car like this, you save a lot of money. That's why I'm fairly positive on the technology in general, as you may have seen in the channel. And this is one, again, which I haven't had the pleasure of seeing. It's the Kia EV6 with the new rebranded logo. And I don't know if you followed, but they've had a lot of backlash with their design recently with Kia and the people not recognizing the brand and saying, what is this? Is this KN? I mean, they had a little bit of backlash. But this is more of a hatchback type of car, so a smaller car again, but fairly competitively priced at $49,000, and they've only sold 17,000 of them. So again, the competition is here. The competition is here, and Tesla is still leading by a long shot despite all of this competition. And it's worth noting that many of them are in low supply, hence the markup. This is low supply, this is low supply, this is low supply. And obviously Tesla are also in fairly low supply if you were to judge the availability of Teslas per availability of these over car. You know, I mean, when this is Edmonds, by the way, the source for this is Edmonds. It's in low supply, but there's a few available near you, but you just know that the dealers are going to mark them up. So this is it. Not much in this video. I just wanted to share some of my research on the competition, and the competition is here. But Tesla is still winning, and it will be interesting to see in 2023 what happens to Tesla sales. But I think the conclusion that I want to make for this video is that all of these electric cars, who's their competitor really? You know, electric car, the penetration of the electric car market right now is 6%. All of these cars are competing. They are together competing to disrupt the legacy ICE makers, right? The legacy internal combustion engine. This is the competition. This is internal combustion engine getting disrupted by cars that are better, faster, and cheaper, which is what an electric car is. And so the question is, as these legacy players lose their old ICE business, are they going to be able to survive? That's the big question. That's a question that's been outlined in the Innovator's Dilemma by Clay Christensen, a big Harvard professor back in the late 90s. The question is, can these companies pivot? Can they change while they have a large share, a large portion of their business being cannibalized by Tesla on the one hand and by their own new product on the other hand? All right, this was it for this video. Not investment advice, never is, never will be. Thanks for liking the video and subscribing to my channel if you can. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. Thank you.